Running a family-run business requires a balance between honoring values and tradition and adapting for growth and innovating for the future. At its core, it's always about building a legacy of positive impact for its customers, employees, and the community. Today, I'm with the owner of Turner Home Improvement Contractors to learn a little bit about what's made them successful for more than 60 years and the role of community. Hi, Corey. How are you today?
Doing well. How about yourself?
Great. I'd love to dive in if you can tell us a little bit about your business.
So we're a third generation company, started in 1955. My grandfather started the company. It was Turner and Sons. It was my father, who was one of 7 boys and a girl, and most of the boys were in the business at one point. Transitioned down to my father, along with several of my uncles, and now I took over back in 2004. I came on full time, and then 2007 I took over majority share of the business.
So 60 years, that is something to be celebrated and quite an accomplishment. What do you attribute that longevity to?
Honestly, it's the core value of not only business, but customer and community. For us, it's our name on the business. It's always been a family-run business. We've always been very integrated into the community. I grew up here in Glastonbury. From the time I was born on, I went through the Glastonbury school system. So when we do a project, it's really about our customers. It's what's best for them. We've always built our reputation on high quality work, middle of the road price. That's what we strive for, giving the best service and stuff. And we've done very well in regards to that. Because we've done very well and all the stuff that the community has given to us, we always felt very strong that, we're part of this community and we want to give back to it as well.
So when I first moved to my house, we took on the project of renovating multiple rooms. First, we had contractors that come down in the morning to the kitchen, and they would be there before I even got there. So we had a routine of the morning coffee and discuss the day's plans. So trust is a big factor. How do you earn that? And more importantly, how have you learned to sustain that?
I think it's really about that consistency. As you said, it is about trust. You have people in your house, and it's day in and day out. And, when you're doing a large remodeling project, it can be very invasive and tough and disruptive to your general day and stuff like that. You have to know who you're working with. And a company like ours that's been around for 60 plus years, you get that comfort feeling just because of the fact that we have been around. Your neighbors have used us. That a friend probably has used us. We've done work on literally every street in town. And so that definitely helps with the trust. And then it's also the process as well. When somebody calls us, they get somebody in our office. They're not getting an answering machine. They're not playing phone tag with people back and forth. You can always get people, and we're very communicative when it comes to a customer, from the time that they call to the estimate given to the proposal to scheduling and stuff like that, right on through. And I think that that's a big part of it as well. It's not only knowing that contractor and knowing them from around town and other people that have used them, but also the fact that they're in that constant contact and having that solid process.
Yeah, I would say that requires meticulous attention from every touch point in your business, right?
Yeah, and it's tough because our business is, let's be frank, and there's a little bit of a stereotype in our business about contractors not necessarily being the most business savvy or the most professional sometimes, and there's so it's tough breaking that stigma and striving to do better than the rest and elevate the business and setting up that process so that there really is something where a plan in place where we know exactly what we're doing, and it's we're hitting all those steps and not forgetting anything with the customer.
So that leads me into my next question. I know that you're really involved in the community. You are a past president of the Rotary Club, and your business is active in the chamber. what does community mean? And help me understand the difference between, your role and your business's role in the community.
So, I mean, I mentioned that I grew up here in town. So I grew up going to Hopewell School from my elementary school right through high school. And, my father was in the Rotary Club as well, and he's a past president of the club. And I remember even as a kid, working the Lobster Fest and helping build the Field of Dreams for the baseball field. And so, as I said, I feel very lucky for all that this community has given me. And my wife is the same way. She grew up here in town as well. And our children these days are now starting in school and stuff. So, when you feel so integrated into this community and feel like you've gotten so much from it, obviously we want to give back as much as we can. The Rotary Club has been great for me personally because I've had a family history in the club with my father being in the club and the past president and growing up doing projects with the club. And so it was kind of a natural place for me to go and give back. And the club is great because not only does it give me an outlet personally to help give back, but it also helps compound the stuff that we can do as a business. So a lot of the stuff that we try to do as a business, we kind of transition through the club, whether it was the baby foods drive that the club was doing recently, and the club or our business was making a donation to the club, because by making a donation of just monetary value, yes, it has an impact here in town, but if it can be combined with a bunch of other donations, it can be a much bigger thing that we're giving back. So we really, we try to take into account everything that we can do. It's not only me, it's also our team here in the office that bounces ideas. And it's been a great, partnership, I'm going to say, in some regards, two separate things. And, the Rotary Club has been around forever, long before I was a member. And, our business was around long before I was running it. But, by kind of utilizing both of them, we're able to really give back even more than we would be individually.
Yes, there's that strength in numbers and also the multiplier effect.
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about your next project. It sounds pretty exciting, and I'm interested in how it was created. This was the Addison Splash Pad, right?
Yes. So a couple of years back, there was some discussion around town about how the town would benefit from a splash pad. Splash pads have certainly been coming up in different towns in the area, which is essentially, we'll call it a big sprinkler water park area for those people who don't know what it is. The benefits to it are there's no standing water, so there's very little, concern about drowning. It's also ADA compliant, so people with disabilities can protect just like anyone else. So when I was president a couple of years ago, I actually approached the club and the board about partnering up with the town in regards to building a splash pad, through many meetings and lots of hours of work, not only by myself, but by many of the other members and the town staff and stuff. We've managed to partner up at this point with the Town of Glastonbury, and the town is putting up $250,000 and the Rotary Club is putting up $250,000 in order to bring a splash pad to life. And it's going to be built at Addison Pool. And so this is it's exciting for such a big project to come to fruition for me, especially something that I felt very strongly about, having small children. I have 3 kids, who's 5.5, 4, and 3 years old. And so they're going to get to use it and stuff. And, we're very excited to see it come together. We're finishing up all the design work right now. The water elements have already been ordered and I believe we're coming in actually this week. And we're planning on breaking ground this coming fall and should be up and running for spring of next year.
So we love to always share some insights for other business owners. I know you have immense demands, whether it's your community service, family, running a business, but you make it all seem so fluid. How do you find synergies in your commitments to the community?
Well, thank you for saying that. I make it look easy because, I'm probably a duck on the pond a lot of the time where it looks a little calm on top, but my feet are going at a mile underneath the water. But, it honestly, it's not always easy, but, you do the best you can. And my wife, Kelly, she's fantastic. She's the same exact way. And we're it's kind of funny because there's times when we're both going a mile a minute, and we're just trying to make it all work. But it's also important for us because, as I said, we grew up here and our children are here, and I grew up working projects with the club and giving back to the community, and I want my kids to do that as well. And when it comes to the business, the business, as I kind of had mentioned to one of the other members recently, the business allows us to do a lot of this stuff. It's the tool that gives us the ability to make the donations that we do, whether it's to the splash pad or to the baby needs drive or something else. And it also gives us a lot of the contacts and the tools to give back. So it's really, we have the business, which gives us that ability. We have the community, which we want to give back to, and then we have our family who support us, and also we want to be a part of it as well. And it's also a labor of love.
Well, Corey, thank you for taking the time for speaking with us today and for helping us kind of get a little bit more insight into a family-run business. It sounds like one of the biggest secrets to success is what you just said, remembering that it's a resource for others, a resource to improve the community.
Oh, thank you very much.
Take care, Corey. Thank you.
Have a good one.